Hello, BookTube. Well, as I mentioned in another video today, I'm feeling rather triumphant, rather insufferably triumphant. I had a huge writing and researching project. It was impossible on its face, and I did it. So I am free as a bird today, and I'm celebrating. I have David Murphy here for a visit, and some of you will know he had a channel that he nuked, full of great stuff that's gone, but he also makes a tentative return here and there to BookTube, and he is visiting, and in an unbelievable wrinkle, the kind of thing you just kick yourself for not having done sooner, he has rented a car. So we have access to all kinds of places instead of just the Brattle. So we didn't go to the Brattle today. Instead, we hit the road to a whole bunch of other used bookstores, places that I would never go. I would just never be able to get there. And we each got a pile of books, and I want to show you mine anyway. The huge amount here, so we'll go through them as quickly as we can. Starting with 4, we went into a place called the Used Book Superstore, which is vast, just a gigantic warehouse floor full of books. And right as you walk in the door, there's this giant canvas tub piled with books that are sorting. There are donations. There are people dropping them off. So everything else is very well organized in this place. I'd never been there before. That tub, of course, is not. And right on top of that tub were 4 books in a series of books that I wish I had the whole series. I once did. And they're these. They're Horatio Hornblower novels by C.S. Forster. But in these particular paperbacks. These are Del Rey, is that right? Pinnacle. I think, wasn't Pinnacle Del Rey? But anyway, you've got these mass market paperbacks, and they give you the number up at the top. They call themselves the Hornblower Saga, and they give you original paintings, but no fuss on the back. The back is just the whole rest of the painting of the book, instead of, greatest naval American, naval hero of them all. So I found Hornblower and the Atropos. I found Beat to Quarters, also great artwork on the back here. I found Flying Colors, with very somber nighttime action on the back there, and Ship of the Line. I found only these 4. And, of course, I was thinking, if these 4 were there, I've been looking for these things, and I figured if these 4 were there, probably the others are in that tub somewhere, but I didn't know the shop. I was new there. I don't know the rules, so I didn't know if it was all right for, some weird old guy off the street to just go plunging nose first into a tub. So I didn't do it. So I just got these 4. Then I found a mass market paperback of this. I have all of this series on ebook, and I have, of course, a mass market paperback of the first book. This is the Emberverse series by M.M. Sterling. That starts off with the novel Dies the Fire, in which the people of the Willamette Valley in the Pacific Northwest, at least, although we later learn it's everybody in the world, encounter this painful, instantaneous flash behind their eyes. And when that flash is over, no technology works. No electricity. It's kind of like a private EM pulse, but it's worse than an EM pulse because even medieval reactive technology, chemical technology, doesn't work. It's like, as one character in that book speculates, it's like a superior intelligence from outside of Earth wanted to conduct an experiment, because it looks like the laws of physics don't work anymore, and in a very limited sense. In other words, you can't bootstrap your way back to electricity. And so a group of characters, 2 groups of good guys and 1 group of bad guys, have to just sort of scramble to make a new life in a pre-technological world. And they do. One of the groups of good guys is led by tough as nails but virtuous former professional soldier. And the other, one of the group of bad guys, is led by a large, ferocious devotee of the Society for Creative Anachronism. So picture Dwight from the American version of The Office, only ripped. He is the leader of the bad guys. And Dies the Fire is the first book, and it's tremendously involving stuff. And then the second book, and then there's the third book, and then there's the fourth book, and the whole time that that's going on, S.M. Sterling is constantly having... You've got 2 groups of good guys, yes, and one of the groups of good guys, the most interesting group, is led by a woman. But you've got this weird electric dichotomy between the macho group of good guys and the macho group of bad guys, to the point where by book 3 or 4, you're thinking these two have got to fight. And maybe they become brothers and unite or whatnot. But you've got to have a confrontation. And in Meeting at Corvallis, they do. There is a confrontation. And I was expecting it. By this point, I was hooked on the series. And I was, in my mind, thinking, okay, I know exactly what Sterling's going to do here. And he doesn't. He doesn't at all. He does the last thing I was expecting someone who's writing an open-ended fantasy series to do. But I have all of these in ebooks. But the very nice ebook people who have sent me these, the ebooks work perfectly fine, and they all have covers except for this one. The ebook of this, no matter how many people send it to me from how many sources, how many gifts, it doesn't have a cover. So I figured I would get this in paperback, especially since everything we saw today was relatively cheap. Then some classic science fiction. This is Three for the Legion by Jack Williamson, with a cover I just could not pass up. Just a classic old, it looks like an 80s cover. Is that right? Are you going to tell me when the cover actually happened? 1980 itself. And this is 3 novellas that Williamson wrote about a spacefaring legion of tough guys that have wild alien adventures. I remember this paperback from 1980, but I've never had it since then. I haven't reread Williamson. I don't remember being all that in love with him, but I couldn't pass it up. Then, because I want to please everybody, and everybody includes all the romance readers, I grabbed a romance. This is a romance author that I don't think I've ever read, Laura Drake. This is A Cowboy for Keeps, which is a contemporary cowboy novel, a contemporary cowboy romance, which I only learned to love because of Sarah at the Bookish Knitter, and I'll take it. Definitely, I'll take it. And then the last of the mass market paperbacks, oh, can you believe it? Proves me right here in the video. I found there was a series of mass market paperbacks. That was a warplane. And the reason it was so loud is because it was traveling at treetop level down the street. But anyway, there was a series of mass market paperbacks a long time ago called the Magnum Easy Eye series. I found the Deerslayer in the Magnum Easy Eye series. And I loved these things. I had pretty much all of them when they were all out in bookstores. But even at the time, I was thinking, well, you don't really want these to be your default paperbacks because they're really poorly made. The Magnum Easy Eye editions are really poorly made. They were made for a season. So you get one dot of glue holding the text block to the front and back cover. And it is prone to do what this just did while I was filming this video, which is for the whole cover to pop right off the text block. So I think I paid $1 for this, but it is useless to me. So I will use the cover as a bookmark in whatever copy of the Deerslayer I end up getting and keeping. But I won't keep that one. Then I got a big Penguin trade paperback, a mini-series cover of Bleak House, because hope springs eternal when it comes to Dickens. I always hope that I will like this author, that I will like him more than I do, which is only so-so. So I grabbed that. And then hardcover. This is a Science Fiction Book of the Month Club, Science Fiction Book Club edition of a Star Trek novel. It is still Book Trek, after all. And it's the novelization of my favorite Star Trek movie. It's Vonda McIntyre's novelization of Star Trek III, The Search for Spock. In this neat book club edition, I saw it, at the shop. I think this is at the used book superstore, and noted that it's in perfect condition. So I grabbed it. I don't usually see this in this hardcover, and I want it in the hardcover because I love the movie. First of all, I can quote the movie from beginning to end. But Vonda McIntyre was working off a very different script. So this novel, you will not be just following along with your fingers the script of the movie. I think that's really interesting. I will definitely read this again for Book Trek. Then a box set. I love box sets. I look for them in case it's something that might be of interest to me. I'd like to think that I'd never bought a box set just because it's a box set. I have to kind of like the book. And boy, oh boy, is that true today. I found a box set of 3 Stephen Jay Gould trade paperbacks. Not his first 3, but 3 of his most famous and popular ones, especially these 2, The Panda's Thumb and Hen's Teeth and Horse's Toes. These are just big trade paperbacks of these things. I often see the trade paperbacks, but I'd never seen them in a box set before. So that was a find to get this thing today. Then something that is a second chance from this channel. We saw the advanced copy of this book and the finished copy. I read it. I thought a lot of it. I liked it a lot. It stuck with me. And then I got rid of the advanced copy, probably to one of you. I got rid of the finished copy, and it still stuck with me. Every once in a while, you encounter a book like that where I wish I hadn't gotten rid of it. I wish I'd kept it. I can't keep them all. And I can't keep everything on the chance that I will feel that way about some book down the line. So I do have to keep these things moving out the door. But I got a second chance today. I got this, the Age of Anger by Pankaj Mishra, which I remember really liking. I don't think this is the American. No, this is the Alan Lane. So this is a UK trade paperback. I would never have seen it look like this. But very much a reread. Very much reread territory. This came out, we saw this together. This came out in 2017. So quite a long time ago on this channel. Then, well, this was a UK trade paperback. I didn't realize that until just now when I was looking at it. But I do have a sweet spot for UK trade paperbacks. I really like them. Unlike box sets, UK trade paperbacks can sometimes tempt me to buy something that I'm not sure that I like, or even that I'm kind of sure I don't like, just because of the format. I tell myself that it's under the heading of giving someone a second chance, but usually it's not. This is not a case of that. This is an author that I did really like. I've read 2 of her books, and I have really liked them. This is Jane Harper, and this is her book Survivors, which I have not read. With a nice embossed cover, this larger size for the UK trade paperbacks, the kind of stiff binding and stiffer quality paper. Definitely, I'll definitely read this. Then I found, this was on clearance. One of the used bookstores that we went to had massive amounts of clearance stuff, where the stuff was $1, which has got to seem like highway robbery to a lot of the customers that go in there. Of course, to me, it's normal, because I have the Brattle Bookshop, but most people don't. And I found this. When I find clearance stuff like that, that's 99 cents or $1, I use the Brattle as a yardstick. I say to myself, okay, never mind the context of this bookstore. If you saw this for $1 at the Brattle, would you get it? And this is a hardcover of Barbara Levick's biography of Claudius, the Roman emperor. And I would certainly have got this. So I found this and grabbed it. Go in the biography shelf once I'm done perusing it. Then this next one is this hardcover is Sentimental rebuy. I don't have it at the moment. Every time I get a copy and talk about it on this channel, one of you sends up a hand, and I end up sending it out to rural New Zealand. So I never actually have a copy. I grabbed a copy because I really like it. This is Thomas Berger's Arthur Rex. This is his try at the Arthurian legend cycle, which a lot of writers did at around the time when this book was coming out. You had a lot of writers seem to have an Arthurian book just sort of sitting in their craw. They can't quite let go of it. So eventually they have to do it. I think that this author probably knew that this would not do well. His publisher probably knew that this would not do well. Typically speaking, Arthurian books, especially in comparison with the author's other mid-list titles, don't do well. They feel like schoolwork to the general reader. I think the exception to that rule was The Once and Future King, which I think a lot of these things, they're looking over their shoulder at that book. But I love it. I absolutely love it. So when I found a pretty good condition hardcover with the mass market paperback artwork there, I grabbed it. And then finally this huge thing, which was an extravagant piece of redundancy. Because I grabbed it because I'd never seen it before in a used bookstore, but these things exist for free as ebooks. This is huge. This is the historical essays of Thomas Carlyle, the author who was once one of the most famous authors in the world, wrote the French Revolution, wrote Sartor Resartus, and this is all of his, I assume that it's all of his occasional stuff where, the Edinburgh Quarterly or the Quarterly Review would want him to write a long piece about whoever, whatever. And he would do it. Authors of his name recognition were given a long time, months, sometimes infamously even a year or two, to do their piece. Then it would be really long. It would be 40 pages long, and it would be the highlight of that issue. And here it all is in this massive thing. And I'm a little bit self-conscious that I got this because, it wasn't expensive, but all of Carlyle is available free on Project Gutenberg. I'm sure that all of these pieces are. They might not be in one volume. But I indulged myself. It was a day for indulging myself. The rest of this week is a time for indulging myself. So I don't know if I can do a Steve Pyramid here. We'll try. This is the Historical Essays of Thomas Carlyle. We've got Arthur Rex. Let's see here. Barbara Levick's biography of Claudius. Got a Stephen Jay Gould box set. The Survivors by Jane Harper. Age of Anger in the UK trade paperback. Hankosh Misra. We've got Vonda McIntyre's novelization of The Search for Spock. We've got a miniseries adaptation, or miniseries cover here for Bleak House. Oh my God. We've got this poor copy of Deerslayer, but it's broken apart, so there's no reason to do it in this pile. We've Contemporary Cowboy Romance. 3 from the Legion by Jack Williamson. We've got A Meeting at Corvallis by S.M. Stirling. And then the Hornblower saga, half of the Hornblower saga in these beaten up mass market paperbacks that are the format that I like. So I've got a goal to get the others now, I guess. I've got, what numbers am I missing? I've got 6, 7, 5, and 4. So 4, 5, 6, and 7. I need the first 3 and then the last 3. So, but anyway, that is my my book haul for today. Of course, you can see it wasn't all books. I got a lovely painting as well. It's the Replacing Superman. And there's more books to come. So I'll wrap this up for now, but there's more book hunting to be done. And I'll do my best to get David on camera. I know that some of you are pining to see him again, since he doesn't make all that many videos. I'll try my hardest. I will wrap this up for now, and I will see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.